TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views and interviews.
Hello, I'm Phil Blizzard in Dubai with news from the world of airlines, hotels, travel and tourism across the Middle East and beyond. And this time, we've got a lot lined up for you, including new attractions in Dubai, two big ones, in fact, very big. One which is a brand new attraction and the other is just open for the start of their 25th season. Wow. And in this episode, our interview special will be taking a look at South Africa. So we've got plenty coming away in this TravelWise podcast, and we start with aviation.
TravelWise, aviation news flown in by Seawing Seaplane Tours. See Dubai as never before.
The big news this time is the introduction of direct flights from the UAE to Israel and the announcement of the number of direct flights which will be allowed between the two countries by the aviation authorities. We also have news from Fly Dubai, we have news from Ras Al Khaimah, and we also take a quick look at the Business Travel Awards, plus big birthday for Emirates Airline. First up, Etihad Airways became the first UAE airline to fly a commercial flight to Israel with their flight from Abu Dhabi to Tel Aviv on Monday the 19th of October. The inaugural flight on a Boeing 787 Dreamliner was described as a travel and trade mission. Authorities have said they will allow up to 28 weekly flights direct between the two countries, between UAE and Israel. So airlines will no doubt be looking and pitching for those flights. Emirates Airline now, and their 35th anniversary took place on October the 25th. The very first flight for the airline took place that day in 1985 when an Airbus A300 took off for Karachi in Pakistan. Emirates began operations with just two aircraft, an Airbus A300 and a Boeing 737. Both had arrived in Dubai on October the 20th, just a few days before that inaugural flight, and they were on lease from Pakistan International Airlines. Staying with Dubai, Fly Dubai's commenced services to the Maldives after a break of, 2 years? They started services on Monday the 27th of October with 4 flights per week. They are resuming the service which began in 2013 and flew there through to 2018 when the route was taken over by Emirates. Flights to the capital Mali will be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays. Going to the Northern Emirates of Ras Al Khaimah, the Ras Al Khaimah International Airport is in discussions to bring a leading European carrier to the Emirates in a move that has been described as a major game changer by the company's CEO Sanjay Khanna. The name of the carrier, which is from the UK, will be announced in early 2021, and the airport is looking at calling itself the gateway to the Emirates. Now on to the prestigious Business Traveller Middle East Awards, which took place on October the 20th, virtually this year, and Emirates has earned top spot by sweeping 4 awards, including the coveted Best Airline Worldwide Award, and they've done that for the 7th consecutive year. The airline also took home Airline with the Best First Class, Airline with Best Cabin Crew, and Best Airport Lounge in the Middle East. Fly Dubai was named as the best low-cost carrier serving the Middle East, and German carrier Lufthansa was named Best European Airline serving the Middle East. Voting was conducted by the public and also readers of the Business Traveller magazine. And finally, Seawings, and our friends at Seawings have a special deal for residents of the UAE with their scenic flights over Dubai, whereby you will now get an extra 10 minutes flying time with their 20-minute snapshot experience being increased to 30 minutes. The cost per person remains the same at 499 dirhams. So check out Seawings and their website for more details on that.
TravelWise, aviation news flown in by Seawing Seaplane Tours. See Dubai as never before.
I'm Phil Blizzard in Dubai, and general news now. Well, first of all, let me tell you that our interview feature in this episode will be taking a look at South Africa from a few different perspectives. But before that, some general news from the world of travel and tourism. New attractions in Dubai. Well, a brand new attraction is called Palm Fountains Dubai, and that opened a few days ago on Palm Jumeirah. It's a development by Nikhil. It will have shows every night of the week, and it's been billed and verified actually by the Guinness Book of Records as being the highest and biggest fountains in the world. Now, an old favourite reopened on 25th of October, Sunday the 25th, the Dubai Global Village. That date was significant because it's their 25th season. So Dubai Global Village, where you can see most of the world in one location in Dubai between the E611 road and the 311 road, has opened, and for both of those, COVID-19 protocols will of course be in place at those attractions.
TravelWise news.
Now, if you're in the travel or aviation business and you want the latest statistics on travel trends and outlooks, then We Go Traveller produce an in-depth report looking at Middle East North Africa travel intent and percentage increase, where they're seeing in both domestic and international travel for all the MENA countries and a lot more. So if you want more info on that and how you can get that report, go to the website wego.com for more. And coming up next here on this edition of TravelWise, we're taking a look at South Africa. I'll be chatting with Naliswa Nkani from the South African Tourism Office, which is located here in the Middle East. And in 3 parts, we'll be taking a look at gateways into South Africa, the visa waiver program, technology and tourism marketing, and also Zambia on the tourist trail. Here on the TravelWise
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views, and interviews.
Well, on the programme today, the focus is South Africa. We're taking a look at what the situation is in South Africa for people travelling from the UAE, the GCC. Tell us more, to give us the insights of what's going on. We have a representative from the South Africa Tourism Authority based here in the Middle East. Naliswa Nkani, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blizzard. How are you? Thank you for listening and giving us an opportunity and listening to South Africa's story.
Yeah, delighted. The colourful nation, isn't it? The Rainbow Nation. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I was down there. In fact, it was the inaugural flight of Emirates going down to Johannesburg many, many years ago. So that is a long time, isn't it? Let's start off. I want to have a look at the sort of main gateways into South Africa for travellers from the GCC. So which are the main gateways in these days, which are operational?
So right now we've got pre-COVID, as it is, because we do not know what COVID has got in store post-COVID. 56 weekly flights from Emirates, which is the largest by far. 28 to Johannesburg, 12 to Durban, and then 16 to Cape Town weekly.
What about Etihad from Abu Dhabi? Are they flying into South Africa at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Etihad is flying into South Africa. But the big player is Emirates. The big player, Emirates has got a big share. But we also have Saudi airline that also comes in to South Africa, which is quite interesting. But the big numbers for us is Emirates. It's the gateway to Africa. The UAE, Dubai, it's the biggest.
Okay, so we've got a good overview there of the gateways and the carriers from the GCC region going into South Africa. There's been a visa waiver program launched. How does this operate? When was it launched?
15th of August, we announced the visa waiver deal. It was our president. It is for multiple reasons: economic, business, trade, investment. Tourism is going to be sure the beneficiary. So it was launched in literally 3 countries, the UAE, Saudi, and Qatar has also been given that the waiver as well. Okay. We've seen quite substantial growth, particularly from the Saudi side. We've moved up in numbers. There's been a huge shift. Also, what we've seen is that from the Saudis, there's been a migration where the Saudi tourism players, DMCs, have started opening offices in South Africa.
Of course, yeah. They want to
get that's the joy about, strategic thinking, to say it's not just about traveling. Now that it is easy to get to South Africa, how do I circumvent or optimize on the value chain? Is if I can open an office in South Africa, I optimize my profits. Sure. I don't have to go.
It's a two-way process, isn't it, between the two the various countries involved. So that is good news, the visa waiver. So if I'm travelling down, what do? Do I just turn up with my passport and show it on arrival in South Africa? Is that right?
That's it. Simple as that.
Really good.
That's it. Simple as that. You take your bag, say 2 million, a Coca-Cola.
That's it. Yeah, okay.
And you've landed in South Africa.
Brilliant. Sounds perfect. So that's one of the strategies to attract more visitors from the Middle East and GCC into South Africa. What else are you doing to encourage travel?
So we've been, as you know, lockdown has taken a toll on the world. Sure. It's allowed the world to kind of pause, reflect, re-engage.
Yeah.
And we've spent quite a surmountable of time trying to understand what the consumer is looking for. We've also had an opportunity to dabble and bring in technology. Technology has never been more important now than ever. We've always put it as a secondary element in how we promote tourism.
So how are you using it now?
We've seen some incredible results in virtual tourism, virtual safaris. We are now going to be launching a virtual marathon with Cape Town Tourism.
How are you?
You can enter the Sanlam race, the virtual hikes that have come up, virtual culinary experiences. So there's been an insurgence of this thing called technology, and it's allowed us to also interact with consumers far more greater in understanding what they want.
There's a couple of things there which I want to come up on. I was talking to someone the other day. You mentioned culinary. Wouldn't it be great if we had an app which could reconstruct those flavours, those aromas? That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? It'd be fabulous.
We've just launched a campaign pre-COVID in India, where we had a bed of the namakwa flowers in the West Coast.
Okay.
And open this book. Literally, you can literally smell the flowers.
Fantastic.
Now, it can happen exactly as you're saying on an app, as you are putting together your karoof or your biryani or your tomato bread.
Yeah.
And you can literally smell the flavors.
Brilliant.
Or a recipe book that is infused with taste and literally the senses, the senses of flavors. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, as we're talking, I mean, we're talking about technology, and we're recording this on Zoom. You've got a wonderful backdrop, which is we're seeing more and more backdrops coming into play, and tourism authorities are using backdrops of their iconic locations to showcase their offerings. You've got a lighthouse alongside a wonderful coastline. So, what is that representing?
So this is one of our new regions, which we've learned from also what we've had to do in COVID. We were very dependent on one particular anchor product or anchor brand. We had to go and unpack South Africa, and this represents newness. It's a province in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. It is in the north. It's our Sunshine 360 coast, filled with warm Indian Ocean. Literally, the ocean's temperature is sitting at about 20-25.
Very nice.
Season. Shark diving, warm shark diving, but also snorkeling with the sharks. But you got to be affair with the water. And it's a province that is infused with culinary, culture, humility, nature, the landscape. In fact, when you land into this province, you never have to go anywhere else.
So it's a destination in its own right. And what you're saying, the warm waters are no doubt a warm welcome from the people of the province as well.
And the people are amazing. This is the home to the Zulu Nation. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's our featured destination here on our travel program. So there we are. Okay, any other news regarding, especially for travellers here in the Middle East? Any news in terms of what you're offering in South Africa? So
we've spent a lot of time in cooking up and preparing for the Middle East traveller. So what we've done the visa waiver, fantastic. Yep. We're focusing on a halal-friendly destination, building a halal-friendly destination, which is very key and pertinent. If there's one thing you should know, we are a multi-denomination country. 1.9% of our population is the Muslim traveller, and they operate across South Africa, from the Cape to Durban to Johannesburg. I mean, we've got a Muslim market, which is amazing, new, unknown, where Muslim products, food, or things that have got sentimental value to the Muslim traveller. We've got the most amazing culinary. That is the best part. I was born in the Cape. So Burgap is my playground. The food is amazing.
Great stuff.
Like Wembley's. The oldest mosque in South Africa is in Cape Town. So we've gone in and packaged Cape Town to say it's got to be halal friendly. But we've also not wanting to box the Muslim traveller. Because nobody wants to be boxed to say, I am Muslim.
Of course.
I am domination. So we've gone and found new regions because we understand that more now than ever, health and hygiene is going to be very important.
Of course.
Therefore, the traveller wants to make sure that when I travel, I'm traveling with my family. I want to go to less populated areas. I'm looking for space. I'm looking for adventure. I want to be fatigued. I want to relax, but I also want to be busy. So we've gone and identified new regions, and those range from Eastern Cape to the home of Nelson Mandela. We've got KwaZulu-Natal. We've gone to Mpumalanga, which is predominantly known for animal kingdom, but we've gone and extrapolated the adventure and activities, which are next to none, particularly the panoramic routes, which is very unknown within the Middle East, because most of our consumers sit in the Kruger and they fly out.
Sure.
And then places like the Northern Cape, which borders 3 other countries, which is Namibia, which is Botswana, and Zambia, and then you hit into South Africa.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views and interviews.
So much there, so much to do. So I'm just wondering, what's the ideal holiday duration? We were not talking about a 3-night stay to get the flavours of South Africa. I guess minimum like 10 days, 2 weeks, really, just to get a fraction of what you're offering.
10 days, 2 weeks, and what is nice about it, we've got the most amazing roads, infrastructure-wise, so you can literally land in Cape Town, do the West Coast, get to the Route 62, come into the winelands, hit it up and find the garden route, go to the Eastern Cape, go into KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, go to Joburg and come home.
Brilliant.
All on a drive.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you mentioned infrastructure there. So we've been talking very much from a traveller, consumer perspective, but in order to have things in place for tourists, travellers, you need investment. So do you feel that the Middle East is a good source to get investors to buy into or joint ventures for projects in South Africa? And what's your strategy at the moment to increase investment from the Middle East into South Africa? What is that strategy?
So we've seen some. If you remember the good old days, at one stage, the waterfront, the V&A.
Oh yeah, wonderful, fantastic. Yeah.
Fairmont, Zimbali Lodge, the UAE investment. There's a UAE investment, and we've seen some noise in the media that there is interest. It's heightening, and our minister has been very diligent, vigorous, engaging the Middle East. In fact, one of her destinations pre-COVID was going to be the Middle East, because we're just palatable for them from an investment perspective. Sure. The destination makes absolute sense. We're about 8 hours away. We are friendly. Our ties, what binds us and our ties, it's incredible. It's beyond just business. We've got a very strong affinity to the Middle East, and we support and we appreciate what they've done for South Africa So from an investment perspective, it absolutely makes sense, and we are going to be knocking, and the Middle East is knocking on South African doors for investment.
So knocking both sides, from both directions. That's good news. Great.
It's just a matter of finding the right products to invest in and the right investors to come in. It's got to be long-term.
Sure.
It has to be.
Yeah, long-term. Okay, so let's finish off and give us some information on websites for people who want more information about your offerings, and you have so many, and I guess your website's going to be very, very colourful.
Our website is, what we've also done during COVID is that we are reinventing our space on the technology front, and we are going in, and we've realized that there's 2 ways to engage with the traveller. One is through the trade, so we are re-engaging and reinventing our trade. We're going to be launching a trade portal. The trade portal will allow Middle East trade to talk to South African trade and products. So you directly can source and look for what you want. So if you're looking for bungee jumping in the north, you should be able to directly go and find the bungee jumping. If you're looking for snorkeling with the sharks outside the norm, you should be able to go and find. So we're wanting to bring the partners together without a middleman, so that people can literally engage business to business.
Yeah.
Then we are reviewing and re-engaging on our website to say, we want to dial up the consumer. The consumer's mindset has shifted. The consumer is more king than ever. The consumer is very diligent, savvy. They know what they want. Therefore, we're going to be talking to them directly in language and addressing their needs, so that we can now also get them to start transacting on our web platforms so that they can do the bookings. So there is a reinvention. So you go to www.southafrica.net, you'll see South African, and you'll get the website.
SouthAfrica.net, that's the key,
yes.
the key word. Well, been brilliant talking to you. A very colourful, dynamic conversation over the last 10 minutes or so. So thank you very much indeed for your time. And we look forward to visiting the Rainbow Nation whenever it's feasible. So, Naliswa, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you very much.
We look forward to the skies opening.
Thank you very much indeed.
Shukran. Bye-bye.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views and interviews.
Super. Talking there to Naliswa Nakani from the South Africa Tourism Office here in the Middle East. Right, we'll have updates of the travel situation across the region on my weekly travel show on Capital Radio, Saturday afternoons, Capital Radio UAE, Saturday afternoons between 2 and 5. It's called Wish You Were Here, and you can join me from anywhere in the world online with www.capitalradiouae.com. And if you would like to have a podcast production for your organisation, do get in touch with me. Drop me an email, philblizzardmedia@gmail.com.
A Phil Blizzard radio production. TravelWise. Aviation news flown in by Seawing Seaplane Tours. See Dubai as never before.